Hello everyone, we're in Barcelona, one of the most beautiful and interesting cities. And in today's video, we'll walk through its streets. We'll visit the History Museum, the Aquarium, a bullfighting arena, 2 cathedrals, and in the end, we'll go for a walk on the beach. If you're wondering why we're not going to the zoo in the Ciudadella Park or to other important places in this wonderful city, you can see if we haven't already been there by watching our previous video, which you can find linked in the description or in the card above. Or we might go there in the next video, that will also be from Barcelona. If you like our videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscribe button to find out even more interesting things about the next place you're thinking of visiting. In today's walk, we spotted the Cathedral of the Holy Cross and Saint Eulalia, also known as the Cathedral of Barcelona, the seat of the Archbishop of Barcelona in Catalonia. The cathedral was built between the 13th and the 15th centuries, with the main works being carried out in the 14th century. The monastery, which surrounds the Fountain of the Geese, was completed in 1448. At the end of the 19th century, the new Gothic facade was built over the existing exterior, which was not well defined, a common theme for Catalan churches. Its shape is that of a pseudo-basilica, vaulted on 5 corridors, 2 outer ones divided into chapels. The transept is truncated. The east end is a capse on 9 radiating chapels, connected by a corridor. The large altar is raised, allowing a clear view into the crypt. The cathedral is dedicated to the Holy Cross and Eulalia of Barcelona, co-patrons of the city. Saint Eulalia was a young virgin martyr who, according to the Catholic tradition, suffered martyrdom in the Roman times. One story states that she was exposed naked in the public square and that a miraculous snowfall in the middle of spring covered her nudity. The angry Romans put her in a barrel with knives stuck in it and rolled it down the street. According to tradition, the street now is called Baixada da Santa Eulalia. The relics of Santa Eulalia are buried in the crypt of the cathedral. From here we're going to Santa Maria del Pi, a Gothic church from the 15th century, which is located in Placa del Pi, in the Barigotic district of the city. It is known that in 1987 there was a church outside the city walls and west of Barcelona. This was a small Romanesque church dedicated to the Holy Lady of the Pine, one of the titles of the Virgin Mary. The church was most likely built between 1319 and 1391 and opened on June 17, 1453. The architectural style of the church was Catalan Gothic, with a single nave almost devoid of ornaments. Peter the Ceremonious made a donation in 1379 to begin the construction of the bell tower, which ended with the works led by Bartholomew Mas between 1460 and until his death in 1497. The Chapel of Sang was built by Bartholomew Mas in 1486. The earthquake of Catalonia in 1428 caused serious damage to the church, especially to the facade. It was also affected by the bombing of 1714 during the Wars of the Spanish Succession and the explosion of an ammunition pit, causing the collapse of the presbytery and destroying the main altarpiece and all the existing ornaments. Although the Virgin and other images were saved, a side chapel was also damaged, as well as all the stained glass windows of the nave, which were broken during the siege. In the end, the church found itself without bells and with a ruined presbytery. From 1717 onwards, repairs began with the work of Juan Fiter. But the first restoration project was not carried out until 1863-1884, when Francisco de Paula de Villari Lozano started the restoration works on the roof and the chapels, the facade and the rear facade. The Baroque decorations of the place were also removed, and around 1915 it was restored again. In 1936, the church was destroyed by fire intentionally set by anarchists who wanted to destroy the building. The church was restored after the end of the Civil War. The plan of the church comprises of a single nave consisting of 7 rectangular sections, each covered with a vaulted ceiling and side chapels placed between the support pillars. The fire of 1936 destroyed the high altar, the statues, the choir of 1868, and the organ created in 1808 by Johann de Quiburs. In the presbytery there is a statue of Santa Maria del Pi, which is 3.3 meters high, created in 1973 by the sculptor Enric Monjo. The original Baroque choir gallery dates back to 1771 and was designed by Josep Massi d'Ordal. In 1868 it was replaced by a neo-Gothic podium, which was destroyed in the fire of 1936. In 1986, the previous Baroque podium was reinstalled. The original stained glass windows haven't survived. The oldest of those in existence now date back to 1718. Of these, the window depicting the Adoration of the Magi above the Hail Mary door is the work of Antoni Viladomat. Saint Evan Duval, canonized in 1909, who was a priest in this parish between 1687 and 1702, is buried in the chapel of the Virgin Mary in Montserrat. We're visiting the Plaza del Rey, which means the King's Square. This is a medieval public square from the 14th century in Barigotic. The square is surrounded by Palau Real Mayor, including the Saló del Tinei, Palau de Loctinent, Lieutenant's Palace, the 15th century Mirador del Rey Martí, King Martin's Watchtower, and Capella Real de Santa Agata, the royal chapel of Saint Agatha. On its south side is Casa Padellas, House of Padellas, a palace from the 15th-16th century, moved here one stone at a time from Mercaderes Street in 1931, and since 1943 houses the Barcelona History Museum, MUHABA. The Barcelona History Museum, in Catalan Museu d'Història de Barcelona, is a history museum that preserves, researches, communicates and exhibits the historical heritage of Barcelona, from its origins in the Roman times to the present day. The museum's headquarters are located in Plaza del Rey, in Barcelona's Gothic quarter, Barigotic. It also manages several historical sites around the city, most of them archaeological sites that feature remains of the ancient Roman city called Barcino in Latin. Others date back to the medieval times, including the Jewish quarter and the medieval royal palace called Palau Real Mayor. The rest of the sites are contemporary, including all industrial buildings and sites related to Antoni Gaudi and the Spanish Civil War. museum was inaugurated on April 14, 1943. Its main promoter and its first director was the historian Agustín Durán y Sanpera. The museum belongs to the Barcelona City Council as part of the Institute of Culture. From the time of the Universal Exhibition of Barcelona in 1888, there were several attempts and projects to create a museum about the history of Barcelona, but MUHABA was the first of these to materialize. In 1926, during the Barcelona International Exhibition, the municipality organized a temporary exhibition of the past, present, and future of Barcelona, which constitutes the precursor of MUHABA. In 1931, Casa Padellas, a late Gothic structure, was moved in its entirety from its original location, on the Mecare Street, to Plaza del Rey, to preserve it and avoid its demolition due to the opening of Via Laetana, an avenue that runs through the old town to connect the new Barcelona Eixample with the port. While rebuilding Casa Padellas in its new location, some remains of the ancient city of Barcino were found. Immediately, archaeological research was carried out in the surroundings, exposing an entire quarter of the Roman city. The Spanish Civil War between 1936 and 1939 put an end to this research, although the importance of this discovery determined that this was the most suitable location for the historical museum planned since the 19th century, which would then become largely an archaeological museum. The Barcelona History Museum was finally inaugurated a few years after the Civil War, in 1943, under Franco's regime, and the core of the museum was centered on the archaeological remains of the Roman and late ancient city, along with the medieval royal palace of the Plaza del Rey, Palau Real Major, which includes the main hall called Salo del Tinel from the 14th century and the Palatine Chapel dedicated to Saint Agatha from the 14th century, the Gothic altarpiece from the 15th century, a work by the medieval painter Jaume Huguet. Several rooms of the reconstructed Casa Padellas also exhibited objects presenting the history of Barcelona through the late medieval and modern times, up to the beginning of the 20th century, aspects related to the city government and its regulations, guilds, civic celebrations, wars and conflicts, crafts and commerce, international exhibitions held in Barcelona, and the growth and transformation of the city in the industrial age, among other topics. The museum gradually incorporated new sites, such as the Temple of Augustus and the Roman funerary path in the Plaza Via de Madrid, found in 1954. The archaeological area of Plaza del Rey has also grown, with new discoveries such as the early Christian baptistry in 1968. After Franco died in 1975 and democracy was restored in Spain, especially since 1979, the role of the museum was reconsidered. The static exhibitions in the rooms of Casa Padellas, which represented the history of Barcelona, was closed around 1990. Since 1996, the rooms of Casa Padellas have been used for temporary exhibitions that allow a more dynamic analysis and discussion of key topics in Barcelona's history. At the same time, the archaeological area has been completely remodeled and its museography has been updated, incorporating recent knowledge about the city in Roman times and late antiquity. The remodeled exhibition was reopened in 1998. In recent decades, MUHABA has focused more on contemporary history and at the same time has grown a network of heritage sites, tending to offer through them a more complete coverage of Barcelona's history. From the Barcelona History Museum, we're going to the Barcelona Aquarium, which is located in the port of Spain, the old port of Barcelona. This is the main and only large aquarium in the city and in all of Catalonia. In addition, it is the most important center in the world on the Mediterranean theme. The complex, which was inaugurated in 1995, has 35 aquariums, containing about 11,000 animals belonging to 450 different species and 80 meters of underwater tunnels. The aquarium is divided into sections. The oceanarium is the largest tank of the aquarium, measuring 36 meters in diameter and 5 meters in depth, and contains 3.7 million liters of salt water. It also has a transparent underwater tunnel which is over 80 meters long. The oceanarium presents a synthesis of the most representative species of the Mediterranean, including moray eels, oceanic sunfish, bram, stingrays, and the largest sharks in the complex, the bull shark and the sand tiger shark. Other interesting species are the sea pig, the osprey shark, and the guitarfish. The Mediterranean Aquarium has 14 aquariums representing different Mediterranean communities with their most characteristic species. In addition, it recreates two protected areas of the Catalan coast, the Ebro Delta and the Medes Islands. Among the recreated spaces are the Posidonia community, the Red Coral community, the Inertial Zone community, and the Cave and Fold community. Themed aquariums are small tanks for small species. They feature marine invertebrates, sea urchins and starfish, seahorses, cat shark eggs, tropical coral, and sea dragons. The 7 tropical aquariums showcase the typical ecosystem of the Red Sea, the Australian Great Barrier Reef, and the Caribbean Sea, as well as venomous fish and sharks from tropical waters. The next pavilion is Planeta Aqua, and it is located at the end of the aquarium tour. There are several facilities with species adapted to different water conditions. In the center of the room there is a shallow tank with guitarfish and stingrays. And in the circular maisonette, there is a series of aquariums dedicated to species characterized by their appearance, and those that practice camouflage, symbiosis, or those that are considered living fossils. In the Barcelona Aquarium, we also encountered various exhibitions, all under the theme of Planeta Aqua, including Life in the Cold, which presents a colony of penguins visible on the surface and under the water. The Tropical Universe, which recreates 3 sections of the Amazon River, where we can observe iguanas, piranhas, and chameleons, among other species. The World of Darkness, which features aquariums dedicated to jellyfish and benthic species. These are all located inside the life-scale replica of a sperm whale. The section called the Pending Search is a space dedicated mainly to children, in which the history of the ocean knowledge and the use of different oceanographic tools is explained. Explore is the main interactive space dedicated to children, where 3 environments of the Mediterranean coast are reproduced: the marshes of the Ebro River, the Costa Brava, and the underwater caves of the Medes Islands. From the aquarium, we're going to the Plaza del Toro Monumental de Barcelona, a bullring, known simply as La Monumental. This was the last bullfighting arena in Catalonia. Inaugurated in 1914 under the name of Plaza del Sport, it was extended shortly after, changing its name to the current one in 1916. From the beginning, the arena gained great prestige for the categories of events it offered, being considered one of the 3 most prestigious squares or arenas in Spain, along with Las Ventas Square in Madrid and La Maestranza in Seville. Located at the confluence of Gran Via and Carrer Marina in the Eixample district, it is one of the largest public arenas in Barcelona, with a capacity of 19,581 seats in 26 rows, boxes and stands on the first interior floor, and an upper gallery surrounding the building. It was the last space in Catalonia where bullfighting took place in 2011, since the Catalan parliament passed the law banning bullfighting events on July 28, 2010, which came into force in 2012. Although the ban lifted in 2016, no more bullfighting has taken place until July 2020. The bullfighting arena is owned by the Balana family, who placed it under the control of Casa Matia, an organization that manages a number of bull rings. The square is currently used for sporting, music, political and circus events. The building was originally constructed in the Noucentista architectural style, the work of Manuel Joaquim Raspall i Mayol. The extension works were carried out by Ignacis Mas i Morel and Domènec Sugranas i Gras to give it its current facade, strongly influenced by Mudéjar and Byzantine architecture. The main access is located at the intersection of Gran Via and Carrer de la Marina and is framed by 2 of the towers. Once on the premises, through the arches on the ground floor, you can access kind of a perimeter corridor, in which numerous doors with stairs lead to the square itself. Attached to the perimeter structure of the square are a series of buildings and constructions intended for various activities related to bullfighting events, highlighting the corral spaces. Currently, a part of the buildings house the Bull Museum of Barcelona, where clothes, historical documents, and some bullheads are exhibited. During the Spanish Civil War, the ring hosted meetings of the Republican leaders. A few horse races were also held in the arena at the time until the General Directorate of Security had banned them. In the second half of the war, the Monumental became a garage and junkyard, and some of the wooden benches were removed to build cement ramps on which vehicles could move around. In the 1940s and 1950s, the Monumental experienced its greatest moment of splendor, with 2, even 3 weekly fights. In 1946, Pere Mila's widow sold the building to the businessman Pere Balana y Espinos. From the 70s, the activity was reduced due to social changes, until at the end of the 20th century, when the bullfighter José Tomás relaunched it. And from the bullfighting arena, we're going to a beautiful beach, Playa dels Pescados, which takes its name from the many fishermen's boats that existed here in the not-too-distant past. One of the attractions on this beach is the oil bridge, a pier built in 1879 for unloading petroleum products from tankers. It stretches 250 meters into the sea and has a height of 4.5 meters. In 2009, it was remodeled to be a tourist attraction. And at the platform entrance of the bridge, very close to the Anís del Mono factory, a sculpture by Susana Ruiz dedicated to the history of the factory was inaugurated. Anís del Mono is a registered trademark anisem native to the city of Badalona. The factory was founded in Badalona in 1870, as indicated on the label, by the brothers Vicente and José Bosch y Grau, becoming one of the most important anisem producers in Spain. Its production system is artisanal, as it was created more than 150 years ago. The factory was declared a historical heritage site in 2007. And with this walk on the beach at sunset, today's video ends. Next time, we'll meet again in Barcelona and we'll follow in the footsteps of Antoni Gaudí, and we'll tell you a little bit about his life while admiring some of the achievements of this brilliant architect. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel by smashing that subscribe button to find out when the next video from Barcelona drops. And if you like today's video, like it and share it with others so they can find out interesting things about the next place you're thinking of visiting. See you soon!